Hello, my name is James Dawson, and for my practical assignment, I attended the ARC of Northern Virginia's First Fridays Futures Planning meeting. Admittedly, when I first read the syllabus, I was a bit worried about the practical assignment. I'm at the start of my career in education, and outside of subbing and my practicum assignments, I have very little experience in the classroom. So I knew that I would struggle to find a student or a special education teacher to interview during the summer months. I decided on the community service option as a consequence, but I was unsure of who I could volunteer with. I'm working towards a secondary English teacher position, so I don't really have any experience with special education outside of this class. I chose to take the advice of Dr. Walker and visit the ARC of Northern Virginia's First Fridays Future Planning sessions. So the ARC of Northern Virginia is a nonprofit organization that serves the area around Alexandria, Fairfax, and Falls Church. It promotes and protects the human rights of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. These sessions are seminars where people with disabilities and their families can come to receive information on different services offered by the ARC. The seminar that I attended was called Finances with a Special Needs Trust, Disbursements, Budgets, and Actuaries. While I did not perform any volunteer services at this event, I did learn a lot about the struggles that face people with special needs and their families as they grow older. I arrived at the ARC's Falls Church office 10 minutes before 10 a.m. By that time, their conference room had already filled to about half capacity. I went into the event blind, not really knowing what to expect other than the fact that Dr. Walker had recommended it to me. When I got there, I was surprised to find out that there weren't many people with special needs in the audience, or at least they were not immediately recognizable as such. The audience was primarily made up of parents of special needs children and adults. The event focused on the creation and disbursement of a special needs trust, something that I had never heard of before. The main purpose of the Special Needs Trust, as I understand it, is for parents and caregivers to provide for their special needs dependent in the event of their death. In many ways, the trust is a little different from an inheritance. However, it can be thought of as an inheritance with a chaperone. Funds from this trust can be used to purchase any number of goods and services. The presenter gave a thorough list of examples to help minimize questions from the audience, but as far as I could see, there is very little that a person cannot use the funds for. However, the trustee must be careful that they not use the funds on items that would interfere with their government benefits if they receive any. For example, if the trust is used to buy food, it may interfere with the trustee's supplemental security income. As such, the trustee should primarily use the trust to supplement what they already receive in government benefit. This was a topic of some contention during the conference, as some parents were not too happy with the fact that their son or daughter could not use it for food. One father in particular mentioned his son, who has the mental capacity of a 2-year-old. His two joys in life are going to Wegmans and going to the Silver Dollar Diner once a week with his father. The father was pretty unhappy to hear that both of those joys would interfere with his Social Security benefit. Now, as a chaperone, in order for the ARC to disperse funds to the trustee must fill out an itemized disbursement request form for every purchase. The ARC will then approve or deny the disbursement based on several criteria. Does the request interfere with the trustee's SSI benefits? Is it possible fraud? Or perhaps the purchase just doesn't make good financial sense. In that event, the ARC representative will discuss it with the trustee. In these instances, the request will be denied and the funds will not be dispersed to the trustee. I want to highlight how tedious this process can be for the trustee. So you see here I have a Wegmans receipt. I went to Wegmans and got some hot dog buns, some chili, bananas, cucumbers, and radishes. Now, if I was a trustee of a special needs trust, I would not only have to keep this receipt, but I would also have to fill out a disbursement request form to request the funds to pay for this. Here's the disbursement request form that I would fill out if I was a trustee, or I would have an aide help me. So I would start by putting beneficiary name and check pay. Since we've already shopped at Wegmans, I would put my name, James Dawson, and then check pay also James Dawson. Mail the check to me, my address, and the payment amount would be the total of the receipt, which was around $8. I would then also include the participant number and account number, and a check memo if need be. I would also have to say the purpose of this request, which would be my Wegmans shopping. I would also have to put in, does the beneficiary receive Medicaid or SSI? If I did receive SSI, there's a good chance that this food request is going to be declined. Then after that, of course, I'm going to put in requested by. That would either be my name if I'm capable of requesting it, or my aide's name, phone, email, title, and then signature and date. Of course, this isn't the most difficult form to fill out, but could you imagine having to fill it out every single time you need a disbursement? Filling out this form for every purchase could become fairly tedious. However, it's important for people with special needs, as they can be taken advantage of, or they may just need a little bit of help keeping track of their budget and ensuring that they're not frivolously spending. Of course, the chaperone aspect is the reason so many parents of special needs children went to the event in question. During the seminar, many of the parents expressed unease as to how their son or daughter would be cared for after their death. What the Special Needs Trust provides is peace of mind to many of the parents that their son or daughter has some financial security and protection against fraud after they can no longer care for them. While attending this event, I was reminded of Chapter 4 of our textbook, which discusses just how much planning families with special needs must do that those of us fortunate to not have disabilities do not have to do. It especially reminded me of just how important the relationship between educators and families with special needs is. Even beyond grades K through 12, these families have needs that they may not know how to meet on their own. It is important for educators to be there to help them meet the lifelong needs of their loved ones. With their First Fridays Futures Planning Sessions, the ARC does a fantastic job of taking up the torch passed to them by other educators and professionals in the field. While this experience is not explicitly related to my future career as an English teacher, it did help to open my eyes to some of the struggles that face individuals and families with special needs. Knowing that for many of them, their struggle is lifelong, makes me want to help lessen their burden however I can as an educator.